Hello everybody, I'm the Reverend Julie Miles and I'm one of the clergy team at All Saints and St Lawrence's and St George's in Scunthorpe. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make hot cross buns. This is one of the activities in our Holy Week book that's been sent out to people all around the parishes. Hopefully you've got your recipe out of your pack. And the recipe we're using actually is Paul Hollywood's recipe, so you can find it on the BBC Good Food pages as well. One thing I would say to start off with is to make sure you measure out all your ingredients before you start. That way you make sure you've got everything that you need. We've started off with 300 millilitres of milk and also 50 grams of butter, and I've actually melted my butter in my milk. You boil your milk and then you leave it to cool until it's hand warm, so you can just put your hand in and you can just feel the warmth from it all. In the meantime, you need to be weighing out your dry ingredients. So we've got 500 grams of strong bread flour, we've got 75 grams of caster sugar, 7 grams of yeast and a teaspoon of salt in our bowl ready to go. And also we need a beaten egg. We'll have a big bowl. So once your milk's warm enough or cool enough to be able to use, you mix all your dry ingredients in your bowl, make a well, pour in your egg. And I wouldn't pour in all your milk to start off with, because you might find that you don't actually need it all. It can make it quite a wet mixture if you put in too much. So maybe just put in about 2/3 of your milk to start off with, and your butter. And then you can either use your hand or you can use a spoon just to get those ingredients mixed in together. So I'm going to use a spoon to start off with, just to get those dry ingredients all mixed in together with that liquid. This time mine's quite dry, so I can put a bit more liquid in there. Again, I'm not going to put it all in just in case it makes it too soft. I don't want it too soft. That's coming together quite nicely now. So once it starts coming together, you can then actually use your hands. Make sure you've washed your hands before you start. So start to use your hands and mix all those dry ingredients together until it starts to form a dough. Again, if you feel you need a bit more liquid, you can add it in, but I wouldn't add too much in. This is starting to come together quite nicely now. That's come together into quite a nice dough now. And in another bowl, I've weighed out my fruit. So I've got sultanas, I've got chopped apple, we've got mixed peel, we've got some grated orange, and also 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. So that's now going to go into my mixture as well. And again, carry on mixing that by hand. Get all those bits of fruit mixed into that dough nicely. Good work out making hot cross buns, especially when you have to start kneading them in a minute. So you put all your ingredients together, all your dry ingredients together, and that's making a lovely dough now. It should start to come away nice and cleanly from the edges of your bowl as well. We have a nice dough made together and we've got fruit all mixed in. Now what you need to do with that is you now need to knead it for 5 minutes. If you have an electric mixer, you can always do it on an electric mixer if you have a dough hook with your electric mixer. But otherwise, it's, as I say, it's a good workout and you can do it by hand. So a little bit of bread, flour onto your board. And then you can tip your dough out. Then if bits of loose fruit, they can go in as well. And then you can just start to knead it. And keep on pulling it in on itself like that. So you're kneading, keep all the nice bits of fruit in, don't lose any of that nice fruit. And keep on kneading it. Now I'm not going to knead that for 5 minutes. I'm going to put that to one side and I'll finish that off in a minute. But you need to knead it until it's really nice and smooth and very pliable, so it's stretchy. I'll pop that back in my bowl for a moment. And I'm going to show one with you that I've made earlier. So once you've done that and it's right, you need to put it into a bowl that's been oiled with some vegetable oil, and you need to cover it with some cling film and leave it to rise. The recipe says an hour, at least until double size. This has been going for about 2 hours, and you can see how big that's got. So now we're going to turn that out, so we'll take our cling film off that, and we're going to turn that out and we're going to make our buns. So get a little bit more flour, turn your dough, now you can feel it's all nice and light and airy. You put it on the board, roll this a little bit, Don't need it too much. And then I tend to roll this out to a nice long sausage shape. I'll move those out of the way so you can see what we're doing there. So a nice long sausage shape. About as long as it needs to be. And I cut that in half. I'm just going to make 12 buns, so cut that in half, and then in half again. And each of these needs to be cut into 3. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Oops. Try and make them as equal sizes as you can. And then once you've got your 12 pieces, it's then just a case of tucking them and rolling them under each other like that. And then you need to get your tray, your baking tray, with some greaseproof paper on it, ready to go. And as you roll your buns up, you're going to put them on the tray. Don't let them touch at this point. They will rise again in a minute and they will actually end up touching. So you roll them out like that until you've got 12 on your baking tray. If you feel it's getting a little bit sticky, you can just use a little bit more flour on your hands. You can see all those lovely bits of fruit. It's got apple in it, sultanas. These are a little bit odd sizes. You're going to have to make sure you get yours in a better sizes than I've got mine. Okay, and so on, until you've got them all on your tray. I shall do those other 4 a little bit later on and finish those off later on. And again, you cover that then with your greaseproof, with your cling film covered in oil, and you leave that to rise, again, probably for another hour or 2. Once they've done that, they should rise, and they hopefully look something like this. So you can see how well those have risen. They're all spaced out nicely like those other ones I was making a minute ago. But now they've all risen, so they're all joined together. When they're baked and you break them, you have that lovely soft edge to your hot cross buns. Now we need to put the cross on. Hot cross buns are traditionally eaten on Good Friday, and that's because that's the day that Jesus was crucified. And so the hot cross buns have a cross on to remind us of that day. So your crosses are made out of flour and water. So you just have 3 teaspoons of flour, add some water to it until it makes a nice runny, gooey mixture. And once you've done that, you then put it into a piping bag. If you have a nozzle, you can use a nozzle, but if not, it doesn't matter. And you're going to pipe the crosses on your buns. So you do it in one great strong line, long line. You don't actually break them up for each bun. One that way, one that way. And then you can see how nice and runny that is. It's not too runny, but it's just nice so that it flows out of the nozzle easily. And then you turn them around that way. And you put your crosses on that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your buns with your crosses on. Now you should have had your oven warming up at this point, okay? So your oven needs to be at 220 degrees centigrade or 420 degrees Fahrenheit, or gas marked 7 if you're on gas. And they can now go straight into the oven, and they cook for about 25 minutes. And once they come out, you then make a glaze for topping. If you've got some apricot jam, and warm your apricot jam, sieve it so there's no pieces on it, and then just brush apricot jam over it. Or you can use golden syrup with a little bit of water in that and brush that on it as well. So when you've finished with them, you should end up with 12 hot cross buns that look like that. Okay, so good luck with making them. I hope you enjoy making them. I hope you enjoy eating them. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with tomorrow's video. Take care. Bye-bye.